All right, here we go. Late night happy hour on a Monday night, a special Monday night as the Raiders open up the Owl with a victory for many, a surprising victory for the books, an upset victory. We'll find out where you guys were on the betting. Adam Hill is checking in from somewhere, maybe at the Owl. I'm not exactly sure.
What up?
He's got the mask on. He's got the customized Vegas Nation mask on. So what's up? Where are you right now?
I'm in the press box waiting to do some of our post game, so I thought I'd hop on for a second with you.
Nice. All right. Well, give us your impression. Are you surprised by how well the Raiders played, especially in the second half on defense, at least limiting the Saints?
Yeah. I mean, I think for sure you have to give them all the credit in the world for what they were able to do tonight when people didn't really think they could, especially after the way they played in the first quarter, which was horrific. I mean, they were awful in the first quarter. I think it was the most rushing yards they'd given up in a first quarter since 2008. But after that, they really stiffened up, and I want to be careful in making sure that you give the Raiders enough credit. And the offense was spectacular, I thought. Drew Brees was horrific, and I don't really think it was anything that the Raiders did. There's a couple plays in particular, and I tweeted about one of them where Drew Brees was in the pocket. He had like all the time in the world. He had to decide between Josh Hill wide open right and Alvin Kamara wide open left, and which way was he going to go? And he decided to go to Josh Hill, and I think he missed him standing all by himself by a good 10 yards. And so, yeah, you have to, sometimes you have to, hope for the other team to make mistakes. But how often is that going to happen? Or is that just where Drew Brees is now? Is he just a disaster? I don't know if that's the case. He played awful. The Raiders' offense played unbelievably out of their mind. And I think the defense could get some confidence from this, even if it's not warranted. I think that's a good sign for the team. I think you walk away from this just feeling nothing but good. But I think if you're a true analyst of the game and you're really looking at it, you're far more concerned with the Saints than you are impressed with the Raiders.
Do you think part of the Raiders' defense from the second quarter on was also due to the fact that they got to read pretty quick that Brees might not be on his game, and that the Saints right now are really not a threat to stretch the field. So at that point, if you don't have to cover much beyond 30 yards, you can kind of crunch things in and you can play the run and then really cover all the routes underneath, and those routes underneath are the ones that Brees wants.
100%. And I think that's where you give the Raiders a lot of credit to look at it and say, oh, that guy can't throw? Like, okay, we're just going to stack the line of scrimmage, and if you want to throw underneath, go ahead, we'll make the tackles, but we're not going to let you run, and you're not going to try to throw downfield. So all you're going to do is attack us through the short passing game on the perimeter, and we're going to be able to come up and make plays and not let you turn those into, not let you turn those 4-yard passes into 20-yard passes. I would be concerned if I was the Saints. But again, all the credit in the world to the Raiders for recognizing that after the first quarter. In the first quarter, they were just getting run all over. But I think then they realized Brees couldn't beat them downfield, so they adjusted and made all the adjustments that you could want them to make, and changed what they were doing defensively and absolutely just shut them down. So,
what do you got, Allie?
It was good. I don't like the Raiders, but I thought it was real good. I cashed it twice. I had the Raiders plus 200 and over 48. So I was happy with that game. I was really happy. It was exciting. And it's cool they're undefeated, but I'm not at the point where I can say go Raiders. Like I have to say go Las Vegas. I'm not there yet.
You don't have to ever be there. If you're not a fan of the Raiders, you don't have to do that. Although sometimes you have to, but you don't have to do that.
I want to like Las Vegas's football team. I just don't want to like the Raiders.
Yeah, I hope the Raiders do well. I hope their fans are happy. I hope they build a fan base here. And most importantly, I hope the stadium gets used to the highest level and it helps Vegas business as it was promised. So that's really my big motivation. I have a football team already, but I certainly want to see the Raiders do well. And, I'll be selfish as well. It helps our radio group. So I want to see them do well. From the betting standpoint, now I got slaughtered. I was totally fired. I didn't get slaughtered, but I was totally fired up to play the Saints. It got down to 3.5 at the Westgate. So I played that. I was stupid. I didn't play the 10.5 back to try to set up a middle. if the Saints would win the game. But I didn't play the 10.5 back. It actually was at 11.5 at one point with the Raiders. And then I played the second half total of 24, and it landed right on 24. With the field. It happens. It happens. You can't win them all. Or this weekend, in my case, you can't win many. Adam, let's talk about some of the big stories for the Raiders. One, Darren Waller, if he wasn't on the national radar for NFL fans, he is now. That was an absolute coming out party. He was virtually uncoverable.
Yeah, I mean, I think he was close to uncoverable. It was tremendous. As much as the Raiders spread the ball around, which was 11 different receivers catching passes, 38 attempts by Carr, 16 went to Darren Waller. So I think you could point out and say, well, they really spread the ball around. A lot of different guys got involved, which they did, but really it was almost half the attempts went to Waller, and he was just that effective. I'm still kind of in shock that on a 4th and 1 play at the goal line, you just allowed Darren Waller to walk into the flat by himself. Like, I'm not sure what the game plan was defensively there.
Yeah, that was bizarre. They totally lost him on that one. Adam has no choice but to wear the mask. No, he has to follow the rules. The coach and the GM and others don't have to. Although they're going to be paying a big fine. You saw that come across during the game, right? I was wondering if anyone went down at halftime and told Gruden, like, you're on camera the entire game with the mask around your chin. They just fined 3 other coaches $100,000 and organizations $250,000. So you guys are going to be up for $350,000 after the game. You may want to maybe cut that in half by sliding on the mask, big guy.
Well, so he was asked directly if he's concerned about the fine.
Right.
And you saw what he said, right?
Oh, yeah.
He dropped the bomb that nobody was expecting, that he had coronavirus in July.
I had it. I had the virus. I got respect for it. What?
So basically what he said is, listen, I'm very sensitive about the subject. That's why I've been so, adamant about it. He said, if I pay the fine, I have to pay the fine. He's like, he basically said, I need to do better. I'm going to do better. But yeah, he just dropped it at the end of his press conference and just walked off. Because as you pointed out, no follow-ups, right?
Yeah.
And it was the last question.
That's awesome.
And he just decides to say it and then get up and leave. And we're all like, wait, what? What just happened? So yeah, it was a pretty stunning conclusion to the press conference today.
So let's talk about what happened down the stretch. What do you think of the field goal decision? That sealed the game, but it was pretty risky. My point on Twitter was he made it. There's no analysis needed. Let's go. Move on. That will be the take you get from a lot of people. And I saw a lot of folks flipping out that they were going to try a 54-yard field goal. And when you look up and you're like, oh my God, if they miss this, Drew Brees is getting the ball in a pretty decent position with time left.
I couldn't believe they were trying it. I couldn't. Especially with the Saints having 0 timeouts. I think in that case, you kick it deep. Now, what Gruden said was, hey, I watched Harrison Butker yesterday make 3 in a row from 58. I trust my guy. He also said, perfect field conditions.
Yeah.
New stadium. But then he said the most coach thing of all time. He said, I just looked in his eyes and he wanted to go win the game for us. Like, I don't know that that's the right way to be making decisions.
You guys hate that so much. The analytics dorks hate that so much. Coaches who do it by feel, they hate it.
It's because it's very dumb. But it worked in this case.
Worked, yeah.
And if it didn't, again, that one is not. I don't think that one's so cut and dry that it's, wrong decision, right outcome. I think it's close to a 50-50 proposition. I mean, if you have Justin Tucker or Harrison Butker, I think you kick it. But Daniel Carlson is not those guys. So that was a little bit skeptical last week. He made a 54-yarder. That was his career long. He made it again today, but that's obviously a very different scenario. And I'm sure the Raiders walk off and say, hey, he made it. What does it matter? But, man, if he misses that, you are really opening yourself up for some second guessing.
Derek Carr's game was awesome. He gave a big shut the F up to all the critics out there, especially those who send out stupid, malicious facts like Josh Dubow and Josh Dubow too, Tyler Dubow. Tonight, Carr led an offense that was 10 of 17 on third down. What was the other number? Oh, Carr, 9 of 10, 93 yards and a touchdown. 9 of 10, 93 yards on third downs. That's magical.
He was really, really, really good on third downs. He was really good tonight. He just had a great game. Now,
I love how much he spread the ball out too. Everyone kind of got a chance to play there. We got to see,
Yeah.
I like that he has options. That's important.
as we said, 11 different receivers, but half of his targets were to Darren Waller. So he did spread it out, but he also didn't. But I mean, I think if you have Darren Waller, that's who you go to, right?
They
he
can't
should be
cover
your
him.
go-to guy.
Now, they can't cover him, then too bad.
Now I will, if you want to be devil's advocate, because I always do, I have to go do the math on his yards per attempt. Not good, not good at all. I think it was around 6, which is not going to cut it in the NFL. But tonight they were really, really, really good. Especially like you said, sometimes it matters when you make the completions, not how many. And I thought tonight was a great example of that. I mean, they were just so effective on third down. And if you really want to get, technical about it, they also had the deep shot. Was it per attempt? Okay. I thought it was closer to 6. Either way. They also had the deep shot to Ruggs, which essentially was a completion because it was a pass interference. And that's kind of what you're looking for in that situation. You don't get credit for those yards. So, there was a lot of really, really good from the Raiders offense tonight. No question.
Yeah, and it's those little things that count too. Like you said, the fact that Ruggs is fast as hell, he's got the Saints freaked out. And it was Janoris Jenkins on the play, and Jenkins for some reason is grabbing his arm and arm barring him right in front of the officials. That does turn into a completion. He set the tone early. Carr had him deep, and Carr overthrew it by maybe a yard. So that's in the head of the Saints. And I thought the other one, I don't really care in the end, like how good the numbers look, yards per carry for Josh Jacobs. Jacobs on the game,
You're right,
88 yards, 27 attempts, 3.3. But it's the way he ran down the stretch. Again, when it's winning time, you have to make plays. And getting first downs and running people over. And the other one is down the stretch. He runs towards the sidelines, at least the way we're viewing it on TV, to his left. And they are like 7 guys are trying to drag him out. And he's like, no, and stays it down. And you just see the guy, rolling the clock. Like, okay, we're good to go. So Josh Jacobs running hard in key moments. Massive.
Yeah. And I'll also point out that it was getting the sideline really into it.
Yeah.
Like really into it. Because here's the other point on being in the stadium. I don't think that the crowd noise is in the stadium. I do think it's only on TV now.
You didn't hear it?
I did not hear it.
Huh.
It was deafening on TV at times. Yes. Super loud.
Yeah, I didn't hear it.
That's crazy. So you have the entire game is totally silent.
So we hear a lot of the sidelines from up here. And just so people know, like I am here, sorry. That's the view from the game.
Oh wow.
Oh.
So yeah, we hear a lot of the sidelines from up here, and also a lot of just like the celebrations, like when Jacobs would have hit somebody at the line and then take them 2 yards downfield. You hear a lot from the sidelines, a lot of trash talking, which was pretty fun.
You also said there was a screenplay called by the Raiders, and like the entire Saints sidelines, like screen.
Yeah.
And the great thing there is enjoy it now. You're never going to hear that ever again. You guys are so high up, you'll have no idea what's going on the field. This is a totally unique opportunity for the limited folks who are in the stands, media, especially when it's 0 fans, to actually hear what's going on. Update on Mark Davis. No Mark Davis at the stadium tonight, right?
He was at the team facility.
Okay.
He actually did a fundraiser, I believe.
Okay. So he's going to stick to his word. His whole notion is, hey, if the fans can't go, I'm not going to go.
Yeah. He didn't go tonight. He went last week, but he's not going to go to this stadium if the fans can't be here.
Aw. I heard one of the plays they called was Mark Davis or Al Davis or something. Did you hear that?
One of the audibles. Yeah, one of the audibles.
Yeah, one of the audibles. Yeah. I like hearing their audibles.
Last week it was Cindy Gruden. So the wife of John Gruden made it into the audibles.
Nice.
And Tiger Woods was also up there. Sure. But yeah, this week it was Mark Davis, I believe. We don't get to hear that. I have to rely on Twitter for that because we don't hear what's on TV.
It's only a matter of time before Adam Hill is inaudible. You just wait.
I don't think so. I think the aforementioned Josh Dubois will be before I will.
Fair enough.
Adam, how glaring was the absence of Michael Thomas?
Oh, massive, right? And I have to go back and look at the film when it comes out. It'll be Wednesday because a Monday game. Emmanuel Sanders was like non-existent.
That was
Yeah.
terrible.
And so I don't know if that was the Raiders just shutting him down or if there's just not a rapport there yet with Drew Brees. But Emmanuel Sanders as the number one receiver was not a thing, which I think was disappointing for the Saints. And at some point they just started throwing nothing but underneath the running backs and tight ends. Like there was no going down the field at all. First half a little bit downfield to like Traquan Smith. Oh Jesus, sorry. But yeah.
We're going to lose you in a couple minutes, so I want to get some injury updates and what happened throughout the game. What happened with Crane Gate? I thought Abrams was dead. Like, did he knock himself out? Was he just in intense pain for a minute? What was the deal?
Yeah, he was right back out. So I think it was one of those where right when it happens, you think it's like awful, and then you're laying there and you're like start to take inventory and you're like, okay, still got my legs, still got my arms, like I'm okay, I'm good, and he was right back out there.
Did you see all the anger about the crane and the placement? Because as I looked at it, as a veteran of the sidelines, I'm like, I don't know how they're going to get that shot if they're not there. And we haven't been in the stadium. No one's really examining the distance between the field and the wall. But that corner, there's no room. Like they're going to have to do something because that's going to be that's going to be players are going to be in jeopardy no matter what. That one corner is crazy. Is that the way? Is that how tight it is in every corner?
So that's the corner, the far sideline, that corner down there. The crane's gone now, obviously.
Yeah, there's no room.
But yeah, that's the room. And then this one, I think there's even less, right?
Yeah, there's less. But that's the trade-off. TV still has to get its stuff. But if the fans want to be close, it's like that, I don't know, like a Michigan State. I know you hate Michigan State, but that's kind of the way Michigan State is, that Michigan State feel where the fans are right on top of the crowd. Then, I don't know, they'll have to figure something out because that could be pretty dangerous. I didn't even see Abram ram into it because I was watching Arnett. Because I thought the back of Arnett's helmet hit the tire, and then he got like choked by some wire. I'm like, what is going on? Yikes. Your guy. Now, this is sad because normally you'd probably go over and give him a little neck massage, but your guy, Richie Incognito, what's going on there? It's not bad, is it? Was he walking around?
He was walking around, so there's some optimism. Never get injury reports after the game. That's all, that even in this in the regular circumstances. It's always the next day.
Got to work the sidelines, my friend. Then you can get the inside dope on the injuries.
Exactly.
I'm kidding.
Incognito went into the tent, came out with a baseball cap on, and was done for the day. It's Achilles, but he went into the game questionable with an Achilles issue. So I'm thinking it's not blown. Although I do know from being around some people that had that happen, you can still walk around.
Yeah.
It's after you have the surgery that you can't walk around.
And then who? We'll see. How much Brandon Parker do we see, and then what they do at guard?
None. It was John Simpson, rookie from Clemson, that filled in at guard, and I thought did really well. He struggled a little bit early, but I thought he did really well. And then Denzel Good was playing tackle the vast majority of the game. So I thought interesting with John Simpson, who said that John Gruden has been incredibly hard on him. And John Gruden actually said that after the game. He said, I don't think I've been harder on any rookie that's been around here. And John Simpson was saying, you know what? I didn't like it, but I've never had a coach treat me like that.
Yeah.
And I think I needed it. He said high school was too easy for him. College was too easy for him. And now he's finally, playing against talented players that are on his level.
Wow.
And he needed to be reminded that he needs to work harder.
Well, I mean, that obviously sent a message because, like I said, I think common sense would tell you if they have an issue at guard, then freaking Denzel Good sliding over and Brandon Parker, a former, third-round pick, is going to play, and instead they chose a rookie over Parker. Yikes.
Yeah. And I again, that's something we'll talk about tomorrow, I think, with Gruden, but I think the fact that Good worked there all week at tackle made them think that probably the better option was to keep him at tackle and slide Simpson in the guard. And like I said, I thought there were some early struggles. They beat him with a couple of exotic blitzes. Malcolm Jenkins got through the middle on one of them, but for the most part, I thought Simpson held up, especially in the second half.
On defense, we won't get grades until tomorrow or the next day. Did anyone stand out for you on the defensive line?
It's funny. I think at one point in the third quarter, I said, "Is Max Crosby even playing?" And then he made like 2 plays back to back, one nearly forcing a fumble and one drawing a holding penalty. So I thought that was good. Again, you have to see the tape on the linemen in particular. It's really tough until you really look at it again and see who really played well. But listen, there was at least enough time to stand in there for Carr and throw it all over the place, and to grind out some tough yards on the in the running game. I know the Saints have a very long streak of not allowing a 100-yard rusher. That continued. Jacobs didn't get to 100. So, we'll analyze that one going forward. Who played really well on the line? But I think in general, after some struggles in the first quarter on both sides, I thought the lines on both offense and defense for the Raiders played really well. At least did enough.
I saw that UNLV's Javen White got in a little bit here and there.
Yeah, unfortunately for him, his first career play was the Alvin Kamara touchdown run from 1 yard out. It wasn't on him, but it wasn't on him. But it's tough to step in and say like, "Hey, here, go try to stop Alvin Kamara from the 1 yard line. That's your first assignment in the NFL. Have fun with that." But cool that he was activated and got some time in there. Also, real quick, I think some people may have seen the photo. But I wonder. I guess it happens other places too. The interception to Morrow. Did you see what happened on that?
No.
That Morrow was standing in the logo.
Right. Yeah. I saw someone I thought it was a smart aleck comment about that he got lost in the logo and he couldn't see him. But is that real?
Legitimately was. If you look at the all 22 picture that's up there, Breeze is kind of scanning the field. Morrow is standing in the logo, and the jersey exactly matched. It's the black jersey with the silver pants, and he like lined up perfectly in the logo. So Breeze just never saw him. And I have to imagine other teams look at that and they're like, I don't know if that happens other places. I don't know if your uniforms exactly match or if it's like you stand there in one particular spot that your jersey kind of lines up and stacks properly. But if I was another team, I'd be like, yeah, they shouldn't wear those jerseys. They blend in exactly with the logo. But I guess that is the one home field advantage you have this year, right?
That's about it, because it's not going to be live. If there's no piped in noise, you can't hear it. There's no fans. It's all you guys. Basically, it's like high school now. You got to freaking create all your noise on your own sideline. It's nuts, totally nuts. When you did a spot with us at 4:15. How much? I don't even know if you were inside or outside. Did you get to walk outside right before the game?
No, I hadn't been outside since like 12:30.
Keep going.
12:30 is about the last time I was outside. But there was people there all at 12:30 already. They're already out there.
Yeah, your boy Mick said that there actually were some TVs outside, which surprised me. Did they go out and set up some TVs?
Oh, they must have. I know across the street they were trying to.
Yeah, because there were fans at the stadium. There were fans over across the bridge. That was pretty interesting. Why am I wrong? Were the doors ever open tonight to the stadium? Not for the fans. The Lanai doors.
Yeah, no.
Why not?
I don't know. I think maybe with no fans, they're just not going to have it. I'm trying to get you guys turned around again. So if you can see, that is where the Lanai doors are right there.
Yeah.
They can open those, and that's Mandalay Bay right behind it, if you can see. And then I think there's some players down on the field getting photos. By the way.
I figure with a night like this, and you're on Monday Night Football, why not go, with the full show and have the doors open?
Yeah, I think that's more for the fans, though.
All right. I figured it was more for TV.
Plus, there was some rain.
All right. I want those doors open on long field goal attempts the other way, with the wind behind the doors, or from the doors behind the kicker. I think he was kicking towards the door when he made his field goal.
Carlson.
No. I was saying to
kicking-
open the doors to get some wind behind Carlson.
Oh yeah, he was kicking away from the door.
This is funny from John Lynn. He goes, I heard they're worried about people stopping on the 15 to try and watch. Maybe that's why it's closed. I mean, I did that test. I was actually driving the other way past it because I was coming from Pizza Rock, driving to the north, and I actually did look over my shoulder. I'm like, you can't from the road, you can't see anything except like the.
Yeah, but I believe it was NDOT. I think this is where John's getting it from. I believe NDOT put out a statement.
Yeah.
Saying you can't see any part of the game, so don't stop.
Oh my God.
And we were watching traffic the whole night, so you could tell there's definitely people out there.
Yeah, it was actually. I will tell you, it was pretty neat driving by it because you just being here in Vegas for as long as I have, you're thinking this bill, and it's right next to the road. You forget there's not many venues that are like right next to a freaking major, like right next to it, like hundreds of feet away from the road. And you look over and you're like, oh my God, there's an NFL game going on in there right now. And but there's no. It was surreal because there's no one you could see around there. There was no traffic. So I was actually thinking forward. I'm like, if there's a Monday night game in the future and I'm not there and I'm driving back around this time, I am not going this way because I'm sure the road will be freaking totally jammed. What else did I have tonight? What else, Allie?
Well, I was watching some of the after game, news commentary from around the city, and I was really shocked to learn that the Stagecoach Casino is the official Raiders bar of Las Vegas. I call that place liquor slots, and I've been buying beer since I was underage at old Stagecoach Casino. Right. So their capacity is like 30 to 50.
Let's give them the pop. It's Stage Door. Right?
Stage Door. Oh, I'm sorry. Sorry, Stage Door. I call them liquor slots. That's what I've always called them. So I don't call them that.
They're going to be crawling all over each other because it looked like it was packed tonight, and I saw lines all weekend. So that place is smart to get in on the ground floor for now. I don't think they'll long-term be the official Raiders bar, but
yeah,
they're drawing them now, so that's where the fans know to go for this first season.
I was just like the capacity there is not like as high as I would think our town bar should be. So, but yeah, it's a good start, and I'm glad those guys are still in business and they made it through the Rona.
Believe me, the official bar of the Raiders will be one with probably 55 bars at some point.
Yeah, that's just we already have our own Raider bars. This is Vegas. It's one of the best parts of living here.
That's cool for those bars too, but guess what that's going to cost in the future if you're the official Raiders bar, right? Lots of money. So some small Raiders place, unfortunately, is going to be left by the way. They'll still have their crowds, but they're not going to be able to brand it. That's just the way. That's just the way it's going to work. A couple other notes, Adam. Looking ahead. What do you think now of the Patriots matchup? Has this recalibrated your thought for the Patriots game next week?
Not really. I thought the Patriots looked great last night. And, they might have an emotional down after that, the way they lost. Yeah. But I thought they looked really good. Obviously, Cam's throwing the ball well. They're designing the offense around him. The defense is still really good. I still think the Raiders are in for a tough spot.
All right. And the question that everyone needs answered before you go, you know what it is. It's already been asked like 6 times. People follow you closely on Twitter. Who violated the press box rules?
I don't know. I mean, I know him. I saw him.
Yeah.
Hold on. Case, are you still writing? All right. Can you come down here for 1 second, or are you on deadline? Yeah, it's quick.
The Las Vegas Sun. Come on. For online.
All right, he's coming. They have a question. Who was violating the press box cheering rules?
I have no idea.
You didn't recognize the guy?
No, I didn't really look at him. I'm very non-confrontational unless I'm on you guys' show. So
beta male. Yeah. Case, let me ask you this. Case, do you care?
I would say I care a lot less than I think than most people. I kind of had a chuckle at it. I know some people were very upset.
All right.
He's good. He's writing.
Fair enough.
He's got to get back.
Thank you, Case.
Good to see you guys.
Are media people I'll ask the chat room. Are media people nerds for calling out media people? Well, in general, yes, they are. But for calling out other media people? for cheering?
Well,
What do you think?
it's just that every press box you've ever been in,
Yeah.
it's like it's announced multiple times, right? Like, does it matter that much? Not really. In the end, like it kind of throws you off where you're trying to take notes on every single play. You're like, what's happening? Like, why are you doing this? We're here, everybody's here working. Why are you screaming and cheering? But I don't know who it was.
Yeah. Good.
What was the food like? Because, like, I'm in the press boxes too. And stats at UNLV, crud food. Stats with the Aviators, awesome food. So I'm assuming you were on the awesome food end of this deal. What did y'all get for dinner?
It was not great. I have to go right now, but I will say before the game they had one of the concession stands like kind of showcase what they had, like popcorn and hot dogs. Not good. They did have good food at halftime though. They had like some prime rib that was pretty good.
All right, rock and roll.
All right, I got to get out of here though. I got some work to do.
Oh, he didn't say goodbye.
Bye.
Appreciate you
Thanks,
guys.
Adam. Yep.
Bye.
Adam in the mask, following the rules. I did see Mike Gramala whip out the giant foot long.
What foot long? Tell me it's a sandwich.
No, it was a hot dog.
Oh, okay.
But I think he was joking because as Vegas Bill saw, Gramala, who's really big on his whole food weirdness, he did call it a fully loaded foot long, and it had nothing on it. It was just a hot dog and a roll. So he's not a condiment guy. He's not a toppings guy.
Do you remember that? It was a Yankees game that A-Rod was commentating on, and he looked like it was the first time he had ever eaten a hot dog in his entire life. It was so awkward to watch him eat this hot dog. It was stupid.
Yeah, people are stupid with the I don't know, the frou-frou attitude on food. So
yeah,
I'm not going to get into the media and what they got. I saw people complaining early on that it was like a chili dog or something. So I don't know.
That's a bummer.
I don't know. It's a soft opening, fellas. Take what you can get. Although that said, they are required to be there all freaking day, and unless you're allowed to bring in real food, you are kind of screwed if you're there. Like in Adam's case, for literally what he said he was there at 12:30, and it's now 11 hours later. So
yeah. And that's often the best part about being media, is that you get free food. So it's always a freaking crap show when you go into the media room and try to eat.
John Lynn is correct. The pizza rock that I put online today was ridiculous. I've never had that pizza before. It was the shop, and it's got like every Italian meat you could ever imagine.
Oh my God.
It was awesome. It's actually on a focaccia crust, so that was dynamite. Any questions you have for Allie or myself on the Raiders, fire away. We'll get to them. I think we covered a decent amount of stuff, but I'm sure there's stuff we missed. Also NFL questions.
How was the turnout at Pizza Rock?
It was awesome. I mean, they're distancing, so they can only. They took tables out. They're not leaving tables open. They took tables out, so the tables are always full. There's usually a little bit of a wait, and the bar. This is the first time the bar's been open in months, and the bar was open, and they just spaced the bar, so it's like half the normal amount, and that's a really big bar. So it was good to see people out, and people aren't afraid. So. That's a good thing.
Good.
That's
excellent.
Last night I didn't go out. I was already out all day, but last night must have been exciting for a lot of bartenders in town. Servers, bars are finally open, so hopefully we can keep our crap together, mask up, be responsible when we're hanging out. I will say, man, there was a weird one. I'll just mention it on the air. Did anyone see the video that I retweeted or that Fox 5 posted in the first place from, it's a place right up the road on Russell. Maybe someone can correct me on this.
Oh, crap.
It's the closest bar within decent walking distance outside of the strip clubs to Raider Stadium. It's the Tailgater. Did anyone see the video I tweeted out? Yeah, it's I'll go grab it when I can.
Usually I'm all over your stuff.
Well, it was cool. That sounded good, right? It was cool, but as Miller J. Vegas said, it was packed. And like, if I'm the bar owner, like, hey, this is awesome. We're getting publicity. Fuck, no one has mask on. Hopefully we're not rated here. Like, be careful. Tommy Rockers. All right.
Yeah.
I like
I'm like,
I would say technically Tommy Rockers would be a really good walk. That's one, when you think about it, that's one of the cool things that, like I was saying earlier, I want to see the Raiders do well. I'm not a Raiders fan. I'm a Jets fan. It's just going to be misery for the rest of my life. But I want to.
I'm a Texans fan. Me too.
Well,
we're signed up for it. We suck.
I want to see the stadium do well, and I want to see stuff get built up around the stadium. Like, really, a lot of the Vegas benefit is going to be the redevelopment of that area. So I can't wait to see what we have 5 years from now when they're able to buy a lot of that area and clear it out and have all these points of purchase and hotels and restaurants and bars, weed joints. They should be down there as well. That'll be really cool. But amazingly, that tailgater place is like the only place, and it's up Russell to the west. It's on the right. It's got a really weird bar front. John Taffer actually came into town, and it was one of the places he tried to remake. He changed it to the Hammer, so he cleaned it up a lot, but I don't know if they went out of business or they just decided to change the name. But for this year, they got a unique spot because they are the only bar within walking distance outside of casinos, obviously.
The Hammer sounds like a gay bar for sure. Like if I read the Hammer, I'm like, that's a gay bar. Most deaf.
Is it bad if I'm like, wait, I know there's a gay bar up on Orville right by Orleans. You could take a long walk that way too. So,
I mean, not that there's anything wrong with that, but I'm just saying, I'm sure Taffer was probably going some like industrial route. Like, oh, we're in a construction zone. We'll name it Hammer. No.
You're not a Taffer fan?
I actually worked at a bar in Corona, California that he remodeled, and it was called Rax, actually. I was a cook there. I'm all right with him, but I think he's gone too far, like in the relationship shows and stuff like that. Did you? Yeah. I was the cook there, and it's like half a strip club and half a bar, and it was a biker thing. I only worked there it was right when I moved to California. I worked there like a month and a half, and then I got a better job and moved on, but it was a lot.
Yeah,
but so he's all right, I guess. But
Hammer corrected me there. He said it was the Hammer. It was the Hammer, and then he changed it to Hammer and Ales, but it didn't work. But at least he cleaned the place up.
Okay. Hammer and Nails is kind of cute. I get it. But still, like, you're going to get hammered. Okay. I'm going to do that at any bar.
Let's see. Other comments.
It didn't come out right. I just didn't want to keep going on that thing.
By the way, no one's hating on Taffer. I'm just saying that the bar concept didn't work. And if you actually look it up, it's probably as high as 35 or 40% of his changes don't work. But you know why they don't work? Because the same jackoffs who were there in the first place are still running the new place, so you can clean it up and put lipstick on the pig. But with the slobs who were working there, they didn't know what they were doing before, and a little tweak here and there is not going to help them.
Yeah, you can't shine a turd. We have a thing in our house that we actually like to look up the bars after we finish the episode and see if they're still open or not, and like 90% of them are not, I swear.
Your video is a bit jacked right now. I think we'll catch up at some point. You sounded super hammered with the last sentence you said. I'm like, I promise she's drinking, but not drinking that much.
All right.
This is a good question, and this is going to be something we're going to have to tackle in the coming weeks. and especially in the future.
Do you want me to log off and log back on?
Yeah, you can do that. Yeah, because you're a little behind. This is a good question from Bark in Vegas. Are the crazy Raider fans responsible for an increase in mayhem on the strip over the past couple of weeks? Okay. Well, I don't think it would be the past couple of weeks. And I wouldn't say they're solely responsible. That'd be ridiculous. Responsible for the stuff that was going on this weekend, which I know there was a shooting in front of Paris. I do think this question is valid right here, that the room rates are still cheap, and I think we've got a somewhat different crowd coming into Vegas. So, but we're in a tough position because we can't turn down, all this money that's coming in. That said, there's also a consideration like how low do you go before then it becomes counterproductive. And if we've got lots of videos of shootings and fucking brawls, because we had a brawl, was that 2 weekends ago at Wynn? That's not good for business once that video gets out there. So they're playing a dangerous game right now. And they need to be careful on that front because the last thing you want is for people to not feel safe on the strip. And there are some pockets of the strip that are getting kind of nasty. What's the game got to do with it? There were actually, I don't know who else has hung out down on the strip or in the strip corridor. My guess is that there were, and this might be a low estimate, I would guess there were 5,000 to 7,000 Raiders fans in town this weekend, and I might be low on that one. So I was out. I actually stayed at Westgate, which is not exactly in the corridor, but would be a place that Raiders fans would stay. And I saw a ton of Raiders jerseys and jerseys. So they came in, and I bet you there were a few thousand just hanging out down near the stadium. So they're coming, and that's going to be something that, Vegas is going to have to deal with. We wanted the Raiders here, and their fans are fired up. They have money. They're going to spend it. So I'm seeing some people in the chat room say that they're going to start to raise prices. Yeah, Sports Guy says they're going to start raising prices. Prices going up soon. Folks will be headed to Circus, yeah. Yes, that is one of the reasons I'm staying down there. No. There's no Mr. Well, it's $1,500 for the rooms, which I'm going to lose all of it. Petro and I put in for it, but yeah, it's that was part of the reason I went into the super contest, figuring that's a nice little bonus with the free rooms. JVT will be doing most of the morning show on Sunday mornings, but when I do them, I will stay overnight, right? So that's a good deal. Let's see. Vegas Bill says flew out to Vegas or Oakland yesterday. Flew out to Oakland yesterday for work, and the plane was packed with Raiders fans heading back. Airport also had tons on their way here. I'm telling you, man, there were thousands of Raiders fans in town. They did not care that they could not get into the game, and I probably should have. I wouldn't be able to get in. I probably should have gone down and did my part of the show from stage door, outside stage door. Let's see. Bill also chiming in. Wynn said they're upping their rates about $20 a night. Not sure how that little amount will help. Hey, you know what, dude? If it still existed, oh yeah. AJ Real LC, I would be at Vacation Village. Freaking love that place. Love that place. So what else? What else we got on the game tonight? Someone was asking me earlier, was I surprised that the Raiders won? Yeah, I was surprised the Raiders won. I was surprised by how easily they won. I'm a little surprised by how limited the Saints looked on offense. I will also push back on Adam Hill in this. I don't think the Raiders are going to have some awesome season. Like, I don't think they're going 10-6, 11-5. They did beat one of the better teams in the NFL, but that team is depleted. Michael Thomas is an awesome player, and I see a lot of people say, "Hey, he wasn't a big touchdown maker last year, and he's a guy who's like 12 yards a catch." Yeah, that's still significant when you freaking catch 135 passes, and you got to look at their roster. They really don't have a whole lot of like quality depth at the wide receiver. So they're a work in progress until Michael Thomas comes back. Now, that said, is he worth 5 to 7 points? No, I don't think so. But it obviously changed everything about the offense, and they still have to adjust. The other thing is there's nothing they can do about it now, but would $8 million a year be better spent on another wide receiver or a couple more weapons versus Taysom Hill? Like, if you're going to pay Taysom Hill $8 million a year, doesn't he have to get 10 touches minimum in a game like this where you're already beat up? I mean, as I'm reading it, I think he got 0 targets. Did he try a couple of passes? I know he I saw him run a route where he was the guy who was supposed to head to the corner of the end zone, but I wonder if that's going to come back to haunt them, that they pissed away, and now it's going to be 2 years worth, upwards of like 16 guaranteed. I think he can make total of 20. That move's not looking freaking brilliant right now. Allie, you back in?
I'm back in. I'm sorry. I have a new camera. When I move around too much, it doesn't catch up with me fast enough. So I'm learning.
It gets a bit wonky.
It does. It does.
Yeah.
I'm still working out my technical stuff.
Are the
It's a lot.
Saints
It's a lot to deal with.
still my pick for the division? Yes.
I can't
don't think
believe
the Bucs
how
are-
many penalties they made today. That was insane. That was
Saints.
Bush League. Yeah, that was Bush League.
Yeah. Did you like the Bucs going into the season, Allie?
No,
I didn't either.
no.
But
Just from like
maybe this opens the door.
just from like the public perspective, I thought everyone was going to be super high on Brady, and then the addition of Gronk also, and that it was just going to be inflated lines. So I just kind of steer clear of the Bucs right now.
Yeah, I would still take the Saints to win the division. I would also look now if, I think it was CGT, which is out, but if anyone resets the win totals, then I would still take. I mean, if the Raiders jump up like a whole win, I would still consider taking under on the Raiders. You know, if it actually jumped to 8.5, I'd be all about that. I don't think it will. So it's 2 games, and I'm glad the Raiders have won, but you know, there's still some flaws they got to work out. And who was saying it earlier? Was this a trap game? Yeah, it was a trap game, no doubt.
Yeah, definitely.
And I guess I don't know. I don't know if it was just a hometown thing and it was all the Raiders fans in town. If it was Sharps who thought about it a little bit more and realized that Michael Thomas was going to be a massive loss. But Saints got bet down to 3.5 today, and I was shocked by that. But hey, look, in the end, it was an easy win, and all those people who bet the Raiders side, good job, you're brilliant.
Yeah, that was a sucker line all day long. 6, like they're not even getting a touchdown. You know that all those Saints fans were just thrilled to not even have to lay a full touchdown. So that immediately lets me know, okay, something's off with the line. And then when it dropped so much right before the game, that was all sharp money coming in. It was 6. I think it ended up at like 3.5 or something, 2.5.
It was 3.5.
I don't know. I was on the money line, 3.5. Yeah, I just money lined it because I just thought they were going to win outright. I really did. And I thought it'd be like 30 something to 20 something, and it was right there. And yeah, someone asked me, do I think the lines are sharper this year compared to last year based on preseason? I think the biggest thing to remember this year is that there's so many brand new bettors from states that have never got to bet before. And like, you know, we all go through those like drunken in-play moments or like trigger finger moments, but we can at least kind of hone ourselves in because we're more used to betting on a daily basis and in gaming. But I think a lot of people out there aren't there, and it's important to remember that. So I think the lines are geared for sucker players right now. I mean, I don't necessarily think they're sharp or not sharp. I think they're like geared for suckers right now.
That's a good point by Brady. William Hill, are they still offering it? For sure. They offer it every week. Prop bet for picking the exact number of wins. So that should be updated. All right. I'll check that. Hopefully they reset that in the morning. What does everyone else think? What does everyone else think on the chat? Are the Raiders now a guarantee to go over 7.5?
I feel like the Raiders could go 7.5. They were solid. But maybe I'm being the public now because I'm high on their game. You know I don't like the Raiders.
I think you're being public. Here's their now some of these games could switch, but they actually were expected to be a dog in probably the first 7-8 games minimum. And there's a couple that could go either way, but let's see. All the games coming up, they will be a dog at the Patriots. We already know that. I didn't check the change number tonight, but it was 6.5 before the game. At home against the Bills, I think they'll be a slight dog. Bills play the Rams at home this week. I think the Bills will win that game. So the Bills should be favored in that one. At Chiefs, obviously the Chiefs are going to be favored. Home against the Buccaneers, I can't see anything happening so drastic to the Bucs that they wouldn't be favored. At Browns would be the first shot they possibly. I think the Browns are the favorite there. They're at the Chargers. The Chargers favorite there. So we're looking at week 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So through 8 games, the next 6 they'll probably be dogs in, and then they should be a favorite at home against the Broncos. So it's a tough schedule. It's a tough schedule. That's why I asked it. Because of 2 wins to start the season, do you think they're going to be a guarantee to go over 7.5? And to Sports Guy's point, the schedule does get easier later in the year.
Yeah.
So and I like Vegas Bill's comment here. Nothing's ever guaranteed with the Raiders. Grew up in the Bay Area, watched firsthand for 25 years. Last year, Raiders were in really good shape to make the playoffs, and then just could not get the job done. And I agree with Miller J. Vegas here. This is still going to be the issue all year long, especially you see what's happening to the offense. This offense is loaded. They have the highest paid offensive line across the board of any team in the NFL. They've also clearly got some pretty good depth with Denzel Good being able to step in at right tackle and do the job. What happens if the defense, especially at linebacker and defensive back, starts getting decimated by injuries? You know, they can they survive all year with their starters and be decent? Yes. It's that injury stuff. When it starts hitting and it hits hard and you have to start going to your 2s, look out.
Who is Carr's backup?
Right now, it's Nate Peterman. It's supposed to be Marcus Mariota. He got a 2-year deal for $15 million, and he's out until at least week 3 with an injury that's not really determined, a pec supposedly. So that would, and that's another question. When you don't have a backup, can you bet on the Raiders to go over 7.5 wins, even with a 2-0 start, if Carr does go down? And this is the question. You know, it's a situation with a lot of teams out there. Although, you know, Von Tobel and I were discussing today, you know, a team like the Broncos, I don't think the Broncos are going to have a good season. I didn't expect them to have a good season, but I don't think Jeff Driscoll's actually that much of a drop-off from Drew Lock, but maybe I'll be proven wrong this week and he'll get freaking destroyed. And, yeah, maybe they should sign Kaepernick. Yeah, they is
Somebody
several
should.
teams, so. And if the same jabronis want to come in and say he sucks, he can't play, all right. Nate Peterman might be a nice guy, but I'm sorry, you're not going to convince me even after 4 years off that Colin Kaepernick isn't better than some of the backups. Yeah, Miller J. I knew what you were talking about, Miller J. Go ahead.
Who, me? Oh, I was just saying Kaepernick cashed me a bunch when he was at Reno, so I'm not opposed to Colin Kaepernick coming back in at all.
That's all it takes to get Allie support. You won me a bunch of money.
I just got cash on you.
Yeah, Mariota is hurt. He's on the IR.
Marcus Mariota did that for me too at Oregon, as a matter of fact. So take him back.
Mariota's hurt right now. He's out until at least week 3. So,
how did Adam feel about Tyrod Taylor being gone? Isn't that his boyfriend?
Didn't get to talk to him about it yet. Probably try to avoid it tomorrow. Probably try to avoid it forever.
That's a good call.
Although it's good radio.
I'm an Oregon fan, so I really liked watching Hebert play.
Yeah.
And I thought he did a great job. And no one had the book on him, so he just had an advantage there.
He did. Now they'll film
Tebow
on him.
doing these days?
Yeah. They'll have film on him. And Anthony Lynn's going to go with Tyrod Taylor for the time being. And if Tyrod's not playing well, there'll be a lot of pressure to put Justin Herbert in there. So we'll see how it plays out. But if I were a Charger fan, I'd be pretty fired up by what I saw on Sunday, because now you've got hope for the future. There were a lot of people out there when he was drafted who were like, he sucks, bad pick. It's not going to turn out. And he showed at least, he was thrown into deep water 20 minutes, told 20 minutes before the game. And I thought he was pretty solid.
That game was a little bit wonky. And let me tell you why. This is like my handicapping conspiracy theory thing, is that I was on the Chargers money line there and I should have taken the points, but it was the same thing with the Raiders. I just felt like it was going to go this way. And, they're leading. And then as the other games are ending, we noticed the lines are flipping out, and my boyfriend's like, it's going to go into overtime. So then he gets onto Yahoo Sports. Yahoo Sports' feed was 5 minutes ahead of what the actual game time that we were watching was. And that's some tricky shit. The odds makers are watching and we all know they do this, but like we could actually find this information. Like this game was 5 minutes ahead and those were the lines that they were setting. So it was just like, it was just a sucker of a thing to do is what it was. But by the time it happened, or by the time we caught it, I couldn't hedge the other side of it and ended up not cashing that damn bet. But what are you going to do?
I don't know what this question's in reaction to. Who cares who he beat? Was that Allie talking about their college careers? What? I don't know. I'm not sure.
Kaepernick? I don't know.
No. Yeah, I agree, Cam Dog. Herbert was good, and I was a little worried that he'd be freaking drowning when he first got out there, but he was pretty damn good. Someone was asking earlier about trying to bust Adam's chops. I don't think that see, this puts that's what you were asking PVC earlier. Adam's in an impossible position here because he's never going to change his opinion about Josh Allen, and he's got the newfound opinion that Breeze sucks and can't throw it down the field, so he's cooked on this one. Like, which guy is he? He's given up on both, and which of the two guys that he's given up on will he back? There is no argument right now. The way Breeze is playing, no, Josh Allen's a freaking turnover machine, so we can ruin a lot of games by making mistakes. But I know we're talking on the field, or we're talking in freaking fantasy land. If it's fantasy football, it's not even close. Drew Brees was drafted in zero, unless you're in a league with idiots. Drew Brees wasn't drafted anywhere near Josh Allen, and everyone knows that. Yeah, Josh Allen turns the ball over a bunch, but because he can run the ball, he's a freaking fantasy darling. And anyone who's watched the Bills, he does look better this year, Josh Allen, and Stephon Diggs is helping. So unless Allen reverts badly and is dropping the ball on the turf 20 times this year and throws 20 interceptions, I think he's going to have a pretty solid season. You might be right on this one. Adam's hatred for Josh Allen will always win over. So we'll see. Tomorrow, oh, God. It's going to be mostly Raiders. We'll probably have to slip in some of the quarterback talk on Wednesday because his take on between Josh Allen to Drew Brees to Tom Brady to Justin Herbert to Tyrod Taylor is just going to be a cornucopia of freaking goofiness. So Allie, I wanted to get into this, and I don't think you saw this, but the last week or so, there's been multiple male sports talk hosts and analysts and writers who have been going after certain women in the media. So it started last week with a guy named Dan McNeil, who was working in Chicago at the Score, and he's worked there for like 35 years, had a lot of problems, been fired a bunch of times, says, goofy shit as we all do, and has had some substance issues. And so he called out Maria Taylor last Monday on Monday Night Football and said that her outfit was
more my girl.
Yeah, her outfit was more appropriate for the AVN Awards versus being a sideline reporter. She had on a leather number with her shoulders exposed. So Twitter came down on him hard. Female Twitter, especially female Twitter backed by female broadcasters, and he was actually fired by the next day.
Oh,
so,
I bet.
like, as a longtime broadcaster, I was like, oh, shit. I'm like, this is getting serious. Like, watch what you say. And what he said was stupid. I didn't think it was a fireable offense, but I also don't know if he's a 10-time offender and a complete dickhead. So there's always stuff that we don't know behind the scenes.
Yeah, but I mean, if it's some leather get-up, couldn't he have said a biker bar? Like, what does he have to compare her to a porn star? Like, that's where the difference lies. Like, don't compare me to a porn star. You've lost your damn mind. That's not okay. And I'm a pretty lax chick when it comes to, like, being a part of the joke, like, being part of the joke and taking one for the team. I get Guy's sense of humor. I'm not easily offended, but do not compare me to a porn star. Like, Maria Taylor is a badass. That chick rules, and she can wear whatever she wants to wear, and it's none of your freaking business. Don't call her a hooker. I don't like it. That's how I feel about that. That's uncalled for. I mean, especially now, everybody knows now you can't say that stuff. Like, who's the guy that was saying that Lamar Jackson had an advantage because his skin color matched his jersey, or, I mean, stuff like, you just can't say that kind of stuff. We know better than that right now, whether it's true or it's funny or it's your opinion or freedom of speech or whatever, you're going to get in trouble. That's the end.
Then Maria Taylor got ripped by Doug Gottlieb. Now, this one's troubling. Gottlieb questioned Maria Taylor's qualifications to have a vote in the MVP race.
Why? Because she's a woman? Or because she never played football or something?
She made a mistake on her All-NBA ballot and did not include Anthony Davis on any of the first 3 teams. Now, she could have fired back and said, you know what, he doesn't deserve it, which is kind of preposterous.
Right.
Because here's the thing. She admitted she made a mistake. So she tweeted at Gottlieb or about Gottlieb's comments and said, wow, it's been a long week, but if everyone would now like to take away my voter privileges because of a clear mistake, please feel free, which kind of sounds like she's whining. And I guess this would be my problem. This is a vicious space. And if someone's actually questioning you on what is a serious gaffe, not having Anthony Davis on your All-NBA team, don't you have to kind of take it? Like, I don't really want to hear that it's been a long week.
Yeah, no, I agree, because this is your job, and this is like what you're here to do. And part of your job is showing that you're an expert and you've got a handle on all of your shit. And I mean, that's pretty major. Me personally, I would have probably said, you know what? I think so-and-so was the better choice, and I left him off, and I would have eaten it like I had some better handicap an idea than you did or something. I don't know. I don't think I would have taken it that way, but just to save face, because it is such a brutal industry, but no, AD should be on that list, and she should have taken responsibility for it and not given an excuse. Absolutely. That's your job, girlfriend.
Cam Dog says you got to ask Petro about the time with Doug Gottlieb. I've heard about it before. We'll ask him about Gottlieb. He won't bury Gottlieb. Petro, may go toe to toe with Doug Gottlieb, when they do their spots, which they're not doing as much anymore. But I don't think he hates Gottlieb. Next level of the story. Then Gottlieb said, why does Maria Taylor have a vote? Real question. She is a studio host, sideline reporter in her first year covering the NBA. She works a ton, not just on the league. No reason for her to have a vote, which is actually, this is an interesting discussion, but I got to tell you right now on Twitter, I'm not fucking throwing this question out at a woman. You cannot win. You have no shot. None. Because I've also.
Why does she have a vote? Can you buy a vote? Is that what they were saying Gottlieb did? I mean, I don't know how you get a vote. How did she get a vote? And I kind of agree that maybe she doesn't deserve one, but I would like to know why
because she covers the NBA and she works for ESPN. So that's how she got a vote.
How many?
I have no idea. I'd have to look it up.
Is she the only woman?
I
bet Doris Burke's got a vote.
Yeah, I don't know. Should that matter? Should you try to balance out the voting field with more diversity, even if the person is not that experienced?
I don't know. There's a part of me that feels like if you didn't play in our sport, why do you get to vote? But then, why would Gottlieb get to vote if he didn't play in the sport? I don't know. I don't know how I feel about this. I got to think about this and get more information.
Yeah. Gottlieb played college basketball, but was never a high-level professional basketball player. So someone could fire. What happened when you start to question why someone's qualified to vote or talk about something, you get on this really slippery slope where virtually everyone can get destroyed. Right. I don't know. Why would I ever want to hear Jalen Rose on the NFL? Who gives a shit? Did he play in the NFL?
Point, yeah.
But I wouldn't do that, because then what you'd have is athletes fire back and be like, well, you didn't, it's like you didn't play at a high level of anything.
Right.
Lots of people are qualified to talk about lots of sports. I think you should prove yourself. And I will also take up for Maria Taylor. I think over the years, there's been tons of males, especially male columnists, who don't go to games on a regular basis, who have votes for stuff like the Heisman. If you're in, I'll give you an example. There's a chance. Well, let me start out. If you work in, say, New York as a columnist, there's a really good chance your Heisman vote is a wasted vote because the likelihood that you watch a lot of college football and you watch West Coast football, that is a freaking massive long shot. So we could actually go through just list of awards and see people where you're like, they're not a day-to-day reporter, but I don't know who's qualified for this. I don't know who's not. But I often have the thought, like, I don't know, like so far listening to, and I like the guy, listening to Jay Williams, who's doing mornings for ESPN National.
Him. He's a Duke.
I don't know how much football he knows. I don't know.
Yeah, I agree.
I don't know if I want to hear. I don't know if I want to hear some former baseball player like fucking Chipper Jones on football. Who gives a shit? Not that Chipper Jones is doing that, but you see what I mean. This is a slippery slope you could go down because we could then fire back on Doug Gottlieb and go, all right, Doug. The only thing you can talk about on your national radio show, the only expertise you have by your playing experience is college basketball. I don't care about anything else you talk about.
Yeah,
I think we have to be really careful on this.
No, I really agree with that because, I mean, that's your area of expertise. Like, I interview people for picks and parlays, and part of what I say is this is our expert baseball handicapper, so-and-so, Chip Chirimbus or whoever, but that's just it. He has proven that he is an expert in this field. And so, yeah, I don't want to hear A-Rod talk about anything other than baseball. I don't even want to hear A-Rod talk about baseball, to tell you the truth. But yeah, he has the background and the knowledge and the inside information to share with fans and viewers about what's going on. So, no, I totally agree with that. Like, stay in your lane kind of thing. Yeah. But I mean, if you are a broadcaster, then it's your job to be knowledgeable about everything. So that's a little different too.
Yeah, I didn't love Maria Taylor's response to Gottlieb. She said, "Why does she deserve it? Because I played basketball. Where she played in the NBA, she played WNBA. Where did she play at Tennessee? Does anyone know? I know she played.
No, she's from Georgia. She's a Georgia girl, I think, and she played college at Georgia. And I think she had track and field also.
All right, you're wrong across the board.
That's just off the top of my head.
Yeah, so you're wrong. She was a volleyball player. She went to Tennessee. I don't know if she actually got.
No, she's not a vol.
All right.
She went to Georgia. I remember her from College Game Day, and she was there all.
No, you're right. She
actually,
you're right. You're right. You are drunken again. So you have to sign back in. Now you're right. She actually did go to Georgia, and she did play basketball and volleyball.
Oh, am I?
Nah, what a nightmare. She's out again. Yeah, whatever. We got the jokes on the credit card thing. So I know the guy made a mistake. He was a dirtbag in college. Yeah. So Maria Taylor played volleyball and basketball. So I don't know. My argument for Gottlieb would be that she is covering the NBA a lot. And one of the most valuable things you can get in terms of real knowledge on a sport is not watching from the inside. It's actually being watching from the outside. It's actually being on the inside. And if she gets to talk to players all the time and she's getting their takes on who the biggest badass is that they go against, on a day-to-day basis, night-to-night basis, then that holds a lot of value. Having conversations with the actual athletes and who they respect does give you a level of expertise over people who are not on the phones all the time or face-to-face. So dangerous ground to walk. I think it's an interesting debate, but I could go count. And I say it point counterpoint on a lot of this, and then we saw something today, and we'll have to get that. You know what? I don't know if it makes her an expert. What, that she's talking to NBA players? I mean, I think if she has connections to NBA players more than Gottlieb does, and yeah, she's probably tighter or closer to the game than Gottlieb is. We don't know how much a lot of these media people who are former athletes actually work to talk to people inside the game. I think some really do. I think others do not. And I think you can hear that sometimes on radio when they're lost. Yeah, let's see. Seeing an article on Katie Nolan getting pulled into this controversy too? Well, the latest one was Jason Whitlock. So Jason Whitlock went after Maria Taylor a little bit, but then went after Katie Nolan, saying basically the only way she got into the biz is her looks, and that TV folks, dudes are very much into looks. And as he put it, I'll paraphrase, she went from being a bartender to a national sports figure, which, yeah, that's insulting in a lot of ways. First of all, there are lots of people who get into the entertainment business who are bartenders and servers on their way up. So I've seen a lot of people on social media who are like, what? A lot of women are like, wait, now bartending and serving is something to be ashamed of? Yeah, I don't get it. And we could go down the slippery slope of Jason Whitlock wrote in the past. When we want to talk about playing the game, Jason Whitlock played low-level Division I football. Does he have any business talking about Power 5 football? I'm saying it tongue-in-cheek, but this whole, like, who's qualified, who's not? Well, I mean, I think I would fire back on this one. This Allie's back in. Are you back with us?
I'm back, baby.
I would fire back on this one. That's absolutely a hiring flaw. Honestly, that more people.
What, Jason Whitlock?
No. To be fair, PVC in Vegas is saying, to be fair, how many women reporters are unattractive? Not many, but I think that's what Whitlock was sort of pointing out, in addition to getting after women, is that there are way too many guys who do the hiring, and they do it based on looks. And they should not be doing that. Right? Adam Hill is making his way into the TV world. Listen, he's not a beaut, okay? But he knows what he's talking about. He should be getting TV time. But, yeah, women have it. I mean, it's a weird thing to say. Women have it a lot worse trying to get into TV, because then you do have to worry about your appearance all the time and doing your makeup. And there are a lot of male slobs who are on TV, and they're never asked about the way they look, and they're hired based on their knowledge. They're hired based on their connections. So I would think,
yeah. Well, but as a woman, you have to be knowledgeable too. As a woman, I mean, you have to have like both worlds going on. The makeup thing sucks. Let me tell you that. The makeup thing sucks.
Rudy, about the Raiders, the Saints, the Raiders over under, the Lanai doors being open, the cart being in the corner too close to the field. We've talked about 700 things. What are you talking about? I mean, this is a great example. Bob Ryan, I mean, if it was based on look, should not be on TV. It was based on his delivery, should not be on TV. I don't know what's going on. Wait, now it's wasting our time. Okay. Yeah, I'm well aware of the Whitlock story, so I know he's a peach.
He was hot though, wasn't
This
he?
is interesting from Brady. The number of dumb things Whitlock has said is very high. Are they dumb, or are they actually brilliant?
Over.
Are they actually brilliant? It's another good one. Would Gottlieb had gone after a dude
all the time, Mark and Obi?
Okay, let's go in order. All right, Hallie. Go ahead. You answer.
Sorry.
All right. How often do you encounter sexism in your industry?
All the time. All the time. People are like surprised that I'm a big note taker because I take stats. So people are always surprised at like, oh, the amount of information you have, or people in the book who you randomly meet don't take me very seriously when I tell them a pick or tell them a stat, or it's just like a whole life of not getting taken very seriously. And it's kind of like always trying to fit in with the boys, and not that you really want to fit in with the boys, but there's a certain like respect level that I guess you're always looking for, or I'm always looking for. I don't want you to see me as a girl. I want you to see me as someone who is good at betting on sports. That's what it is. Not someone who has a great rack.
Let's see. We were getting on a Whitlock run there because I was saying to Brady, I don't think the things that Whitlock says are dumb. I think they're actually brilliant because he's taking a position and he's created this character. Just like Cam Dog is saying here, Whitlock says things most people think in their head. Whitlock says things most white people think in their head, you mean, right? But never say out loud and then just says them out loud. I find it refreshing. He's taking an angle. And by the way, this is a great, wrestling further heel turn that Whitlock is working by going and joining Doc Travis. Like Clay Travis hiring Jason Whitlock is brilliant. This is also what Clay Travis wants. So you may think that Whitlock's saying dumb things, but it's exactly what Travis wants. And it's also creating a little war here. This is where you are much better off if you are Maria Taylor, if you are Katie Nolan, if you are any other female that Travis or Whitlock go after. This is all a bit. And, the way to extinguish the bit is to not pay attention to the bit. But people don't have willpower. Hell, we're talking about it. But I'm trying to explain to you, there's a whole game being played here. Don't fall prey to it. Now, the flip side of that is they do have a lot of followers. And should that stuff go out there unchecked, and then you've got, tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of Doc Travis followers who are getting further hypnotized by what Clay Travis says and now Whitlock says, maybe that's a dangerous thing too, and someone does have to counter it. At this point, I'm not sure because there's so many different characters being played. I choose to ignore them and not really, give them any sort of spotlight, but maybe I'm doing the wrong thing. Maybe we should be trying to crush these guys. Crush the opposition. So many former athletes suck at radio and media. I think there's a lot of good ones. I just think everyone needs to be trained up a little bit. Hell, if we need to be trained up, everyone else kind of needs to learn the craft and what works, what doesn't. Like someone earlier was ripping on Colin Cowherd. You may not like Cowherd, but you have an opinion on him, so he's doing what he's supposed to do. But that would be one of the guys I'd watch in terms of the way his show's prepared, the way he does his show. And that's a good example to follow because I think if you can get this many people worked up, you are doing your job pretty well. So, and I don't believe Colin's a character who's not worth watching. Like I think a lot of what he's saying is genuine, and then he'll go a little crazy on the edges to finish things off. But I think what he does is mostly pretty damn effective, and I think it's him.
Well, one thing about athletes being commentators, I was saying earlier, I don't really like to listen to A-Rod, but what I do enjoy about listening to him commentate games is that he was a player and he gives me different angles on things, different plays or situations that I haven't thought of before because I've never played baseball, especially at that level. And I don't know. So I really do actually like athletes becoming commentators, but absolutely not all of them are as good as maybe we would need them to be.
Yeah.
The perspective is good there. The perspective is good.
I think he's referencing Colin. So, Steve, if you spend 95% of your show ripping Rodgers, I'm out. Is he still doing that? Is his position that Rodgers is not that good? Are you sure? I've heard him take up for Rodgers and saying that he should leave Green Bay and he should have left Green Bay based on, management's disrespect for him in terms of putting weapons around Aaron Rodgers. So I don't know.
And they took away his Clay Matthews. I know he hated that.
Yeah, and Kevin Harlan's kind of out of the conversation we're talking about. He's a play-by-play guy, but he's very good at his area. He's very good at play-by-play. I don't know if Colin thinks he's smarter than Vegas. I know a lot of his picks match mine this weekend that I put in the Super Contest. So believe me, Colin's not going to be freaking crowing about how well he did because I know when I listened back to what he did with RJ Bell this weekend and also what he did on Friday with his Blazing Five, he was all over the Lions and he was all over the Cowboys. So I know those were two rough ones. Real bad. Good
my
for you,
man
Pickle.
was 5 and
Good for you,
0.
Pickle.
They were
That was
5 and
terrible.
0 this week. 4 and
Who
1
was?
last week.
Who was?
My man. My man.
Is he in it?
He's in the Circa contest.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he was 4 and 1 last week, 5 and 0 this week. So
slide me his
roll,
picks.
babe.
Slide me his picks. I need a
I
backup.
will. I'll text you.
Yeah, we were terrible. We were on the Cowboys -4.5. That never had a shot. Even they won. Lions.
Yeah.
Lions getting 6.5. 14-3 lead early. Nothing. Sucked from there.
Nothing.
Texans complete non-effort. They sucked. +7.
That was rough.
Barely got my pick of the week. Barely. And that was the Dolphins. Barely got it. They were in the game. It was a close game throughout, but I had to get the freaking backdoor touchdown. Now, RJ's not on ESPN because he went to Fox National. He decided to leave the station, whatever it was, like 5 years ago. So now he's on Fox National. So there's no other reason behind it. That's it. He's on a much bigger platform now. So better to be on 200 or 300 stations than one station in Las Vegas. And if I'm correct, I think his show is being carried live. I think I was told that it was he's being carried live on Fox Sports Las Vegas. So I think he's on against us from 3 to 4, but I'll have to check that for you tomorrow.
I like RJ Bell. He's good at what he does. I like you better, but I do like RJ Bell a lot.
We don't do the same thing. RJ he gambles. He is a gambling expert, and his guy.
Well, you were saying you're in a head-to-head spot with him, so I was saying I'll watch you over RJ. But
we go head-to-head with lots of people, so we have 3 stations. So, I don't even know what this one is. When's the last time anyone had dinner with Paul Howard? I don't know. I don't know if anyone in our group has had any. I see Paul every Friday when he comes in for his William Hill show. That's an interesting question out of nowhere. We talk about Pig all the time. Yeah, he passed away probably about 8 years ago. So he's been gone a while. RJ's condescending attitude. RJ can come off as condescending. I would say he's confident. Very confident. Is there how many radio hosts?
Well, you need to be condescending if you're going to be a good handicapper.
Well, I think all radio hosts are going to come off at times as condescending. So unless you're kind of vanilla, just the way it goes.
Yeah,
just the way it goes. All right, Allie, you have any early leans on next week for the NFL? Have you guys talked about stuff yet or not? What have you been doing on picks and parlays? Just sticking with the NBA and NHL?
Yeah, I have not even looked ahead. I was into baseball today, and then of course the Raiders game. So my baseball was not my best day. 1 out of 3 got right, so not my favorite, but nonetheless, So I'm doing picks and parlays 6 days a week. And now what's new there is every Wednesday and Friday at noon Vegas time, 3 p.m. Eastern, we do a 30-minute podcast where we go over 4 games that are going to happen that day. So Wednesday we'll do like a baseball, basketball, hockey, football, and then Fridays we're doing football Fridays. So I'm just like spinning through as many picks as we can get through and as much analysis as we can get through in that 30 minutes. But it's the same kind of format where you guys can comment and let us know, what you want picks on and what you're thinking about. So check it out. Picks and Parlays. It's on Facebook or YouTube. The show broadcasts live on both of those shows every Wednesday and Friday at noon Vegas time. So yeah.
I'm just laughing. It just hit me like 20 minutes. No, it just hit me 20 minutes later when you're like, I want to be respected as a good handicapper, not because I got a great rack. Like, what? Where did that come from?
Well, because that's why you get hired. That's what we were saying. Like getting hired as a girl is like you have to be hot to like. That's implying that I couldn't do my job if I didn't like look a certain way, and I'm not even that hot. So I mean, So I take that as a compliment that I have my job.
Let's see. PVC said, I asked because I went to high school with Adam. All right. Friends for years with Paul and Mitch and played basketball with me. I must have been a terror that day because I haven't played basketball in like 10 years. I must have been wonderful. I was probably yelling and screaming at everybody and setting picks and snapping on people for not playing defense. Quite the losing competitor I am. I'll give you a couple of things I'm looking at. And after a crapola week in the Super Contest, maybe just go opposite what I'm thinking about here. Man, I I don't like that the Rams have to do so much traveling. Buffalo is now 2.5 against the Rams, and I could see that going down too. There's a lot of Rams money. A lot of Rams money.
I haven't even looked ahead.
New England is now 6 against the Raiders. I want to see where that line goes because I'd like to play the Patriots, but
I want to see what the total is there because I kind of like after watching that offense, I want to see what kind of overs are going to happen with the Raiders this season. Sugar. I clicked on baseball. So I have it.
I don't mention my record. I don't mention it. Good, bad. I don't mention it.
I was crapping out.
We are 5-5 so far. Not good.
God damn it! I did it again.
Yeah, I'm not. Another trip across the country, unless this thing about them staying at Greenbrier is true. I'm not fired up by that. But I do want to see if Buffalo is going to be healthier at the linebacker position because they were missing 2 of their linebackers last week. So we got to see about the health situation. Does Pittsburgh 3.5 seem low against the Texans? That would seem to me
because it opened at 6. That's the thing. It opened at 6. Now this is the same thing the Saints line did, huh? Same damn thing. And look, it's Houston who's 2-0. They totally suck. Everyone's already given up on them. Big Ben at home. Don't have to lay a whole touchdown. You watch out for that line. I'll say it right now. You watch out for that line.
I don't think the Pats offense destroys the Oakland defense. The Pats offense still has some questions too, and I know they were impressive against the Seahawks. By the way, I'm not sure that we're not looking at the Seahawks thoroughly enough. The Seahawks defense hasn't really been wonderful either. So again, I like him, and I like what I saw with the run game in week 1. He was obviously very accurate this last week. I don't know if the Pats offense destroys the Oakland defense. It could. Like I said, I'm more on the Pats than I am on the Raiders right now, depending on where the line goes. Another one that I'm intrigued by, and man, it's tough. Like I tell you guys every week, it's tough. Did I say Oakland? Sorry. Las Vegas. Smart asses. Another one I'm looking at is going back to the well. This is not easy to do. And I bet you it ticks up to 3.
Okay, sorry.
Minnesota at home, +2.5 against Tennessee. Does everyone like Tennessee right now? Are we impressed with these games so far?
I don't get what the thing with them is. I don't get what everyone's deal with them is.
Got autoplay fire. There you go.
Acuity Insurance. We believe the things you do for your business every day are heroic, and you deserve someone equally heroic to protect them. We put our all into covering your business so you can do what you love. That's the power of heart. Acuity Insurance, wholeheartedly.
That was a disaster. So
I was just letting you get through it, man.
Tomorrow. Tomorrow we've got Allie Wednesday, goes back Thursday, our legal podcast. So Allie, have a good night. Appreciate it. Thanks to Adam Hill who popped in earlier with the live post game for like 35 minutes in between his video shots with the newspaper. And we'll see where the numbers go from here, especially in the NFL. We see if we can get back on the horse in the super contest. So do your research. We need some winning picks. That means you, Allie, and that means the audience too. So
I'll shoot him your